this एक second, just yeah. So let me just get you through the training. What we're going to do basically, I've divided the content into 4 modules basically: basic to advanced Excel, corporate presentation, documentation, data management, and pivots. Let me just explain how we're going to go about it. Just to give you a little profile of mine, I am a finance professional, and the knack for Excel started with my first job, and that was into MIS. So I really enjoyed working on Excel. I just saw a friend of mine, a colleague of mine, Nishant. He was doing it so fast, and I was not being able to, make out between his fingers and the screen that what is happening. His speed was so good. So I was like, I need that. I want to be that fast. So that is, your first job, and you're starting off and you're learning. So that is when the knack for Excel started off. And my bosses were very cooperative. They gave me that time. I used to take a little extra time in the beginning to get things sorted. But then I started automating, and then things went really very well. And then I left my job and I started off with something else. And because of that first job and that interest in Excel, I'm doing corporate trainings and a lot of consulting in MIS and all. So that is how it started off. So my profile is primarily into the finance area. I've done a lot of trainings with Grasim, Centuryply, all these companies. And anyways, I'll just move forward. I'll just skip this part quickly. So basically one, this is a corporate training. It is not a classroom training. It is not a school level Excel training. It is a corporate training. So the files we use for all the corporates is what we are going to be using for the training that is going to be conducted over here. The training is open to all. The classes, you guys are doing the classes live over here. And it is also available if someone wants to avail it at home. I'll just discuss in a minute very quickly about that also. Certification will be done provided you have an attendance throughout the session over here for the live classes. In case there is any issue with backup and all, that can be taken care of. We'll do a lot of practice and doubt solving sessions. The modules are very application based. I'll show you the sample what we're going to do. So basically for your resume, so when you're looking at your resume, you don't write that I did a so-and-so class of Excel at so-and-so institute. That is not your resume. Your resume, you need to write, I know how to make pivots, dashboards, power pivots, slicers, use of these tools. Because when a person is employing you, he doesn't want to probably know that, what have you done? What is the name of the course? He wants to know what are the value additions you can make. If I hire you, at what speed will you be able to execute my work? Do you know these things? Will I have to train you a lot, or you already know these things? So that is the objective of writing on the resume. So you will not write I did so-and-so course at so-and-so place. You're supposed to be writing slicers, dashboards, VBA, using VBA codes, macros, Power Query. Then the person will ask you that, what are these tools? How are you using that? And when you can explain to the person that the job that you do in 2 hours, I can do it in 30 minutes, then you're of course employable by the person. So that is the objective, right? It increases your speed and efficiency like anything. I'll keep on nagging you that please don't use the mouse, use the keyboard. The faster, you'll work very fast if you're working with the keyboard. You have to get used to the shortcuts and all. We'll be doing about 25-30 shortcuts or so we'll be covering in the first module itself. So you'll be learning 25-30 shortcuts and you'll have to use it. And how exactly you'll start learning those shortcuts, I'll explain that. You need to get more job ready, and also when you're looking at small businesses and all who are not able to afford outside help for MIS and all of that, you need to be having that capability with Excel, because ultimately all the data is coming down to Excel. So you have to be able to work with Excel data. You have to be able to do a lot of data crunching, and then you'll be able to do the analysis. So you need that Excel skill. For the live sessions, you need to bring your own device. For the first module, even the 2007 version or 10 version is okay. But for the second, third, or the third and the fourth module in particular, the Power Pivot module and the data management, you need either a 2013 version or a 2016 version. So please make sure by the end of the first module, you are upgrading to the versions. And if you're using 2007, it's like more than a decade old. So, you need to upgrade. You have to upgrade. There is no prior knowledge needed for the first module, but for the later ones, you'll need a little bit of knowledge of the first ones. Otherwise, you'll not be able to crack it. Investment banking or the finance module is going to come after these 4 modules. So that is going to be covered separately. We'll be doing it later. We are probably planning a December session for that. We are planning to do the database and, these 4 modules, which is open to all the profiles. That is in July, August, and we are planning to do the December module, the investment banking module, a very extensive one in the second week of December. So 2 weeks, approximately 2 months. Yet to finalize, adding a lot of content on that. So that is that. We'll be uploading this class on YouTube. So people can check the first session and then you can join in from the second session as well. So when you're looking at this, I'll just skip this. The first module is going to be about 4 classes, corporate presentation reporting about 3 classes, data management about 5 classes, and then another 3 classes for advanced pivots. So this is how we have structured the entire course. When you're looking into the first one, so even if you do not know Excel, you can start with the first module. The first module is going to be, it sounds basic because, you know, a lot of times I ask a question to people that do you know Excel? And they're like, yes, I know Excel. How good are you? Like, very good. Do you know index match? The answer comes no. Do you know power pivots? The answer comes no. Can you make dashboards? No. Do you use a table format? No. Do you use macros? No. So if you don't know these things, you don't know Excel. These are the most basic things that we start off with. Do you know the subtotal formula? Yes, I can sort it. There's nothing big deal in sorting. You just, you know, there's a filter given, you can do that. You do that on Amazon.com as well. Right? The sorting and the filtering. But then how do you apply the subtotal formulas? How do you group, ungroup the data? So all those things comes in. So it's very superficial. In Excel, if I'd now, probably I'd be knowing, let's say 2% or 3% of what Excel is. That is the expanse of Excel. Right? So there's so much more to do. So in the first session, we'll be doing with the basic, the most common formulas. Paste special is also something very simple. I'm not going to teach you Control V. Don't expect that, please. But paste special. So there are a lot of things that you can do with the paste special as well. Now let me just give you an example of what we can do probably. It's one of my old files. Say for example, I've got data in this manner. I've got data arranged in this manner. Now what I want to do over here is, I want to fill this Midwest below over here. I want to fill this Denver below over here. I want to fill this Kansas City in this area below. Now, see how quickly it is done. Whether there is 100 lines or 1000 lines or 2000 lines, I'm going to take the same amount of time. So that is a place where you need to stand out, where you need to know these skills in order to perform the task very quickly. For something that you are doing in 2 hours, you cannot tell your boss that, you know, I'm very hardworking, I work for 2 hours. If you've done this for 2 hours, you have to become skilled. Your knowledge has to be exponential. That needs to grow in order to demand a higher salary or have a better customer service done, or, you know, just proper decision making. So you need to enhance your skills first before you're able to command anything better out there. So these basic things needs to be done. Say for example, I've got 2 lists. I want to compile them in, together. But I also want to retain the identity, which one was sheet 1, which one was sheet 2, and which is a common data. So how do you put these things together in just a matter of a minute? So these skills, the data management, the cleaning, the analysis, the presentation, all these things needs to be done. So these are the things we need to look at. So paste special, very simple stuff. Say for example, something which is in a columnar format. I want to convert it into row format. Paste special will help you. So something that was on row wise and column wise, I want to swap that and make that as row, column wise and row wise. That is simple transpose. So even in paste special, something as simple as that, you have so many applications. Say for example, rounding of functions. We'll start off with that. So if you want to convert the data to the nearest tens, nearest thousands, how do you do that? It might be needed for tax. For tax payments, we need to round off the figures. So there we might be using the rounding functions. Now when you're importing data from, let's say, an SAP or a Tally, a lot of times we have a lot of issue with respect to date. The date format gets distorted. So date functions need to be used over there. Now text functions. Now when you're looking at SAP function, say suppose you want to clean up your data. There are some capital letters, small letters, you want to clean that up. Say suppose there is a number that is not being used in the formula very well because the number is being treated as a text by Excel. These kind of errors we very commonly encounter. So how do you make rectifications for those? Say suppose I have a sheet I have a Excel file with like 10, 12, 15 sheets. On each of the sheets there is given profit and loss account for the year ended 31/3/2020. Then there is a balance sheet 31/3/2020. Now if you're upgrading the same file for the year 2021, you'll have to redo all the sheets again. You'll have to again type and change the name. We don't need to do that. There should be a single sheet in the top where you just put your date and year, and all the files automatically are going to get updated. So this is the automation that is needed. Why is this level of automation needed? Because One, it reduces manual error. Once you've automated, you don't have to, because you know what happens is we print out all the sheets, then we see, oh shit, I made an error over here. Then you need to again go back and rectify that. It is very time consuming. So error rate is going to go down and redundant work is going to go down. Yes, for the first time, you'll have to change all the formulas and spend 5 minutes on that. On changing every single Excel file with, let's say, 10 sheets. I'll need a few minutes to do that. But then every year or every month, like when you're looking at MIS and all the databases, normally what we do is we copy the February files as, let's say, March, and then redo the files. We just update the data. The files are copy pasted. You don't have to do it on a monthly basis, the changing of the month or the changing of the date. It becomes so easy to manage. So there are a lot of advanced text functions that we need to use for that, and a lot of cleaning functions. A lot of shortcuts you need to start learning. Let me give you an example of a shortcut. Let's say I'll just write a random number over here in a blank space. Let's say so basically I've got the same numbers written twice over here. Now what I'll do is I'll start, just a moment. Yeah, so let's say I'm over here. I'll just press a Control Shift and 1. You will be able to see my keystrokes. Whatever shortcuts I'm using on the screen, you'll be able to see the same. So let's say I press a Control Shift 1, Control Shift hyphen, Control Shift and the number, just the button above the tab button. So this gives you the number as it is. Control Shift 1 is converting into a number with a comma. So if I would make this number a bigger one, so Control Shift, sorry, so this is going to be right. Control Shift 1 is the number as it is. Control Shift hyphen is the number. Control Shift 1 gives you comma and 2 decimal place. Control Shift 3 converts into date. Control Shift 4 is going to convert into a currency. Control Shift 5 is going to convert it into a percentage. Control Shift 6 is going to convert into exponential numbers. And what everybody does is right click. Okay, where is font now? Format, sorry, escape. So these are the problems that happens. Right click, format cells, you'll go to a date, currency, time. Either you change over here or you'll have to search over here. Which one do you think is faster? And then a comma, then a decimal place, and God knows what. I'm not habituated because I don't use it. It's a Control Shift hyphen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm getting all the formats over here. It's as simple as that. So you'll have to get very used to with the shortcuts. You'll have to get very used to with the shortcuts. Is everybody comfortable? Right? Following? So then you've got your lookup functions, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP and all. I'll have to explain as and when we go about it. And a little bit of, we'll be just covering the basics of filtering and pivots first. And there are a lot of simple things. Now print and view, you'd feel that what is so great about it. Now what happens is when you're printing Excel files, it becomes another problem. That suppose I want to print this area and I did a little bit of rough work somewhere over here. Now when you're taking out the printouts, the rough work also gets printed. Right? That becomes a problem. I just want to, let's say, print this area or just the table that I have selected. There are tables. We'll do the tables part. It's very useful. So in the print option, you have something called print the entire workbook selection. And if I have made tables over here, will be an option of printing tables only. So you waste so much of redundant work and time frame that you're using in order to execute something as simple as this. So this is basically what we are going to be covering in the first section, in the basic to advanced module. The numbers and all, we keep on changing the module numbers every time based on, the scheduling and all. But these are the modules basically. The data management comes in with a lot of advanced work, advanced count if, sum if, average ifs, advanced date functions, calculating the bill dates, automatically ignoring Sundays, ignoring Saturday, Sundays, ignoring list of public holidays. You can just feed in the list of public holidays. A lot of work can be done with the advanced date functions. Database functions are there in order to work with databases. Table is one of the most underutilized and one of the most useful tools that I've seen. So basically what happens is, say suppose I have a database over here. Now every time there is new data added, you have to keep on updating your summation formulas and all the formulas. The moment you start using the table format and the table logics and all that I'll do, you'll never have to update a single formula. The formulas will all get automatically updated the moment there is new data added below. So that becomes quite useful. It is quite an underutilized tool, tool actually. Cell naming and dynamic name ranges. Now if you see this cell is named as F64. I can name this cell as, let's say, Apple. Now every time, now if I write something over here equals to Apple, it'll show over here. Now it becomes quite useful because F64 and referencing F65 and all gets a little difficult. But suppose if I'm naming this range, suppose I name this as February. So every time you want to refer February, you don't have to remember the cell range or go to the file and all. You can easily just type February and this whole range will be summed up. So we'll have to do a lot of work with the cell name ranging. So that becomes again quite useful. To create drop downs and all, we use data validation. Dynamic drop down. Say for example, you have 2-3 drop downs made. In the first drop down, you are going to select whether you are looking at stationery or electronics or mobile phones. So you have 3-4 categories over there. If I select mobile phones, in the second drop down, I need only the list of mobile phones to turn up. That is dynamic drop down. Right? So those things are there. Advanced lookup. Now VLOOKUP is something very basic and something that most of the Excel users use very, very casually. It's one of the most basic and utilized tools. VLOOKUP is a very bad idea. Index match is a very good idea and it's very useful. Index match can work in place of VLOOKUP, in place of HLOOKUP, in place of combination of VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP. What if you want to do a lot of multiple lookups of the values? Then in that case, what we do is we look at 3D lookups and multiple lookups and all. So those advanced lookup functions and index match primarily is what we do over here. Then you've got the reference functions, indirect offset and all. So in order to make your data more dynamic, more interactive, more dynamic, which does not need a lot of manual updation, we do a lot of indirect offset applications and all. So you can refer to the cell names very easily. So I'll have to do it in order to explain this part to you. Advanced filtering, subtotal formulas, custom filters and all is there. Removing duplicates also. There are multiple ways of doing it. There'll be 5-7 files which we'll do on just removing duplicates. There are multiple ways of studying duplicate value when you're doing data crunching. There's a lot of data cleaning that is needed because when you're compiling data from multiple sources, the same thing, say for example, the same Scorpio is written with different spellings. I'm just recalling the example. We had done some analysis for the car, Scorpio, Innova and all. So from 50 centers, the car data had come to us. And then we had to compile the data into one. And with various spellings, it became a little task to actually clean the data. So if you know the right tricks and all, just the one like the example I had showed you right now, it becomes very easy. Your function becomes very easy. Array functions, you can again, I'll have to show this one to work it out. Then there's a lot of protection and all that is needed. What data can be edited by someone that you're sharing the file with. Now the same Excel file can be accessible or can be shared with multiple people around. So what is editable, what is not editable, who can view what data. So all those protection work is needed. Now when you're making a mistake with formula, how do you try to rectify? How do you work with the formulas? So formula, checking the formulas and all. When you're looking at dashboards, so I'll just show you an example of a very nice dashboard. Now this is an HR dashboard. Basically what happens is I've collected the database for the HR, for the HRs over here. I've collected this database for the HRs. I'll keep on adding new data for the HRs over here. Suppose I can take this dump from Tally or SAP or whatever ERP I'm using. The moment I've put the database together over here, the analysis is real time over here. Say suppose I'm going to click on any of these and it'll tell me what is the number of employees per annum for these departments. If I click on any of these locations, it gives me the locational details. If I talk about these years, these two figures are changing. So it gives me a total of the compensation, the bonuses and the salaries. Say for example, if I click on any of these figures, suppose these figures are per employee base. So this is the per employees data. You will not be able to read it because I've minimized. If I click on any of the years, you see all the graphs are changing automatically. And it is giving me that year's data. This is on a real-time basis. The moment you copy paste the data, this is automatically updated. This is a dashboard. Once you are having a decent level of practice, it's gonna probably take you 5-7 minutes to make this. So this is the kind of work that is needed. That is your dashboard preparation. So we'll have to work a lot with pivots in order to be able to create these dashboards. And there are a lot of advanced level charts, a lot of interactive charts. You must have seen beautiful charts that is, displayed. Like the companies, say for example, the companies who are lying above this the discriminant we call. They're very useful kind of charts where you can plot a trend line, you know, very graphic ways of showing things. And you have to understand, if I give you 10,000 lines of data, no matter how much of hard work I've done, it will not appeal to you. Ultimately, you need the analysis, you need the output, that I can see the data and I can figure out, okay, this is what it means. This is the analysis I'm able to derive. The data needs to look, things needs to look good nowadays. Right? So that becomes quite important. Macros and VBA is going to be used. We are not going to be doing Visual Basic coding. We're going to be using, we are going to be doing how to use the Visual Basic codes to apply. Say for example, let's say in this Excel file, I have this index made. Now this is a file that I use for CenturyPly's training, so it's an old file. So I have this index made. This index has got the group ungroup. So basically it has got the name of all the sheets that I have over here. And they're all hyperlinked. So if I click on list unique values, it goes to the sheet list unique values. Now, normally what a person would do is type all the names over here. Then there is a way of hyperlinking. I'll do that. So create hyperlink is how you have to do the create hyperlink will be there. You can create it and it'll go to that particular sheet. What I will do is I will have a tab with my own name, if you can see over here. There is a home, insert, page layout, formulas, and I've got my own tab. I'll just click on this button, create links to sheet, and all the links will be automatically typed and hyperlinked. Just imagine the amount of time you'd be saving when you're doing these things. Basically what happens is there is a Visual Basic code. I have not put the code in this file. There's a Visual Basic code. I have just used the code. I have not made the code myself. I just googled up code for creating hyperlinked index on Excel. I'll get a VBA code. I'll teach you how to use that code. So for some basic tasks, you can easily Google up, convert a number into words. So 543 will be 543. So we can just look up these kind of Visual Basic codes online and then just simply use it. So even if you don't know coding, at least we should be able to copy paste the codes. That much we can learn to start off with. Right? So you can automate functions as simple as that. So a task which you're doing on a daily basis, you should have your own tab and you can put things over here. I'll show you where all you can automate these things. So that is customizing ribbon. So this is your ribbon, the top part. So home, edit, view, that is your ribbon. So having your own tab is customization of ribbon. Scenario analysis, a lot of analysis can be done on that. Then comes a third module where we'll be talking about the corporate, basically it is PowerPoint, MS Word, and I wanted to do a little bit of Google over here. Now what happens is, I'll come to this. Suppose I'll press a shift question mark. The moment I press a shift question mark, you will see anybody go to your Gmail accounts, you go to Gmail or Google Drive or wherever you want, any of the Google tools, and you can just type shift question mark. And the moment you do, you'll see all these list of shortcuts is there. When I want to go to an inbox, I just press G-I and inbox opens up. When I want to reply, it's Control R. Reply to all, Control Shift R. Send a mail, Control Enter. Just imagine the speed that it increases, your speed that can work, and Gmail you're going to be using throughout your life. Are you understanding? So tools as simple as that. And I want to cover a little bit of Google Forms and Google Sheets and all, and Google Keep. That is a to-do list, and there are a lot of things you can do with that. Your personal life can, your personal work can get very sorted with these tools. So we'll be looking into those things in the G-Tricks part. So anyways, it's going to be more of Microsoft Word. Now in Microsoft Word, say for example, you generally type the entire index. When you want to make an index, you have to type the entire index. And then whenever there is a page break or something, whenever you want to shift the new topic to a new page, you're pressing enter. The moment you are doing really it's really very bad what you're doing with that part. You don't need to press enter again and again. Then the moment you insert one paragraph and then the whole formatting goes haywire. So what you need to do is your index can be automatically created. So we'll do this. How do you create an automatic index? You just place your table of contents and your table of contents will automatically turn up. But you need to learn how to do that. Say for example, 5 of us are working on a Word file. We need to submit a presentation or something, or submit a report or something. Now I don't know what changes you've made. You should be able to track changes, which author has made what changes. So you need to learn those things. You want to use MS Word, you have a small startup, you want to use MS Word in order to create automatic builds. Say for example, I need to create your certificates once you're done with the training. I'm not going to be individually writing everybody's name on certificates. There's one certificate, it will take me hardly a minute. The moment I have a list of names in an Excel file, I can immediately make your certificates within a second, whether it's 1000 names or 2000 names. So how do you use mail merge for that? How do you create indices automatically? How do you format? Because Word formatting takes a lot of time. I've seen people spending a lot of time formatting the Word documents. So those things you need to do. Sorry. Then in PowerPoint, there's going to be two things. One, we're going to be using a lot of tricks. There's a home slide approach or a magnifying glass approach. You know, how to make the presentation look very nice. Something could be as simple as, let's say for example, let's say, you know, very small tricks, just as simple as numbering your folders. Now I know if I need to check my seminars, 7 enter. If I'm over here, 7 enter goes to the seminars. 1 enter goes to the classes. The numbering part becomes very important. I don't have to look at the screen. It's very time consuming. You have to be fast, you have to be efficient, and it could be as small. The tricks could be as small and as basic as these. You know, even when you want to rename the file, you click over here, you wait, again you're clicking, then you are going to be renaming. You're not supposed to do that. F and F2, sorry, I pressed F1. F and F2, function 2, you rename. And F2 is the shortcut for double click in Excel also. So you need to start learning these small tricks as well. So let's say, where was I? Let's say if I'm going to insert an image like this. Now the background, let's say the background, I'm not teaching you anything right now, I'm just giving you examples of what you need to learn. Now say for example, when you want to put some image of something of this sort over here, it does not go very well on the slide. All I need to do is probably, we'll do these things. This is just one example of a trick. I am not a designer. I don't know Photoshop. But whatever level of designing I think I need, I'm able to execute really very well on the PowerPoint. It's not about the design that matters. It's the idea or the concept that matters. And if you want to execute that concept, you need to have these tools ready. You need to be very good with these things. It was so simple. Are you understanding this? So these are the tricks that we need to learn in PowerPoint. There are a lot of other ways of presentation. So how do you make a corporate presentation? How do you present it? We are going to be discussing on that. So corporate presentation, the do's and don'ts of a corporate presentations, right? So, and Gmail, we are going to be looking at Google Form, Google Drive, Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Keep. So I just want to spend a couple of hours or at least some portion of time on just your Google tricks, because everybody is very, very thoroughly, very regularly using all these. The last module is going to be a little technical. That is going to be delving into absolutely a higher level of dashboard. So what we had seen over here, what we had seen over here is a basic dashboard. Now what happens is when your organization is using, let's say, 10,000s of lines of data, then it becomes very difficult to manage with a regular PowerPoint, regular Excel file. Your Excel file might increase in size to around 30,000, 40,000 KB. That becomes a little bit of a problem. Your Excel starts hanging up, right? It starts getting stuck. So we need Power Pivots, Power Query, Power Tools and all, and a lot of different advanced level of charts that we can incorporate over here. So that is what you're going to use in order to, that is going to be a next level. We are just going to be spending 2-3 sessions, but it's going to be a little advanced and be very useful, very interesting. These modules are available. These modules are applicable for any profile. If you're using data, you're using Excel. If you're using Excel, you need to know these. If you're using PowerPoint or you're using Microsoft Word, you need to know the third one, the Microsoft, the presentation and reporting module. The finance module, which is going to be specifically for the investment banking finance area, that we'll be covering later. That is not going to be covered in these 4 modules right now. So that is more or less about it. And the details, the contact details are given. A few quick things. So when you're looking at the live sessions, in case you want, you're always welcome to revise the modules in the next session. Even if you're adding a few things in the next session, you're more than welcome to revise it with us. You need to carry your laptop for the live sessions. For the video sessions, you'll probably be needing 2 laptops. One to see what I'm doing to play the session, because you'll not be able to simultaneously minimize the session because it is going to run on an encrypted software, right? It's very easy to install. You just need to play the video, and on the second laptop you're supposed to be practicing it. For the ones using Apple, your shortcuts are going to be different. Most of the shortcuts will work with the command button instead of control button that I use. And for playing the classes, in case you're using the D2H mode, in that case you'll have to run parallel windows, and then you'll have to run the classes on that, and it's very easy. Most of the students a good number of students are using MacBooks, and that works very well. That works quite easily. The other details, for the other details on D2H or anything, you can just ping the coordinator and she'll help you out. The numbers are given at the end of this session, or I'll just put it in the link also. That's 98304-97377. So you can just check the link. I'll just put it in the description part also, so you can just check that. So that's this. Now the way we've arranged is we've divided, like for the live session, we've divided the module into 4 modules, and 4 sessions we'll be taking. In the first day, second day, third day and fourth day, what is going to be a coverage is given over here. And we'll try to avoid mouse as much as possible. You have to make sure of that. And for the video sessions, you'll get a list of, the folders and the classes and the files and all. The files are going to be arranged in this manner. For the video students, maybe the files will be arranged, all of module 1 will be, serial numbered with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the videos will also be numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Over here for the live session, we've divided into module 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going to be our day 1 file. Each of the files, when you're going to be looking at it, is going to be having a question file and a solution file. So the question file, the files are make sure that you are copy pasting the folders, the original files intact separately, and you're using other files. So basically just create a copy of the original files and keep it for your reference in the future, and work on another set of files, so that just by mistake, if you're saving something, you still have the question and solution files intact. So keep one extra copy of the files with you. Now what happens is, all the questions are divided over here. All the questions are given. Syntax, in case it is needed, the formula syntax, how do you type the formula, the way of writing the formula, and the function, what it does, is given in the syntax file, and the steps are also highlighted at the end. So it's quite easy for you to go through these. Also, if you see the functions, each of the questions will be solving in the class, and the solution for the same. I did not open that, just a second. So there'll be a solution file that is provided, wherein those functions have been already worked out. This is another sample dashboard that we had created. Data tricks, I just had shown you one of these examples, how you can fill the hole in the data. So very quickly, we just done that. I'll show it to you. I'll teach you how to do it. Don't worry. Sorry. And then there is a solution file which has solved all these. So basically, even if I give you a solution in hard copy, it won't make sense, because in the hard copy you'll see the output, whereas you need to see what formula has been entered. You need to check what formula has been entered over here. So that is why the solution files have been made. So even after a few months, when you want to get back to these training modules, when you want to revise anything that you've already learned, you can always go to the question file. You can see that. You can try it out. If you're not able to solve, you can always refer to the solution files. For the classes right now, we'll not be looking at the solution files. That is for your reference later. A few practice module also will be included and will be sent to you. Also, there'll be a list of these shortcuts that we've, these kind of flashcards that we've kind of prepared over here. So basically, it's giving you all the list of functions, mathematical, logical, date. So in mathematically, you've got sum product, average, what the function is doing, how do you use the function, the syntax, how important the function is, where the function is being used. So you've just created something that you can refer to if you want to just revise all the functions that you've used. So you can get back to this. So this you'll be getting. We'll be dividing the content. I've gone through this. I think that is more or less it. One more thing I just wanted to talk about. We've launched this since I just have a lot of knack for Excel. So there's this website that we've come up with, that is Excel in Excel. So that is your Excel in Excel.in. So xlinxl.in. This is a website. It's got a little bit of proofreading yet to be done, but I just wanted to show the website today. We've just started off with this. So all the classes, training, we're planning to come up. We already have a few articles where we want to put up a blog, very small tricks and all we want to share over here. So that's a blog. It's not yet live. There's a little bit of issues over here. Some text is missing, but so why Excel? It's a little bit of proofreading is yet to be done. So I'll just show you the training bit. Let's say, for example, so we've done a lot of trainings and all. It's a little slow. So we've done a lot of trainings at some of these institutes and some of these corporates. So we are planning to, and all the information, the contact details and all are also over here. So you can check this out a little later. So that is more or less about it. Any questions that you have? Any questions? This is more or less, since it's the first session, we need to give you all the information. This is what we are going to be doing. Any questions? Anything? All right. So just give me a minute.